It was Summer Rashad.
I'm Keisha.
Hang with the Joneses. As you see, we are back after
Yeah.
a long hiatus.
What number is this?
I don't know, 70 something. Keisha had us something to talk about, and she wanted to talk about today. So, what's the topic?
I was talking about parenting. Is there really a such thing as parenting evenly or fairly? Should we parent, quote unquote, fairly? You know what I mean by that?
No.
I hear parents say, or people say, I treat them fairly, or I treat all my children the same. And then I just kind of thought about like, well, should we treat all our children the same? For instance, like we have three children, and they are quite different. And sometimes we look at treating them the same. Does that mean that sometimes we would neglect something in them? For example, let's say if a quick example, if one like apples or something, so we're gonna make sure everyone eat apples to keep it fair. No, that person, the other children don't need that. You know what I mean? And say for example, like I look at my children, like I have my oldest is very loving. Like if she leaves out this house 20 times a day, she's gonna leave and say, I love you, I love you, I love you, I love you. My middle one, give or take. No, you say she say it back, but it's no like overly. And my how would you say the youngest one is when it comes to like being affectionate?
It's very much via like, I want something.
Yeah. Yeah, she when she needs something, she's like, "Ooh, don't you know?" But she's also really helpful. Like she sees something in need, she'll be the one who'll go clean. Like she see a mess, she'll be the one who'll go clean it up. Where the other ones would just go right past it. So saying them, so loving them and giving them what they need is not the same for each child. Because each child doesn't need the same thing. So, for example, with my oldest daughter, she sometimes she needs a little bit more of the huggy emotional thing, no emotional fix. My middle daughter, she doesn't need that so much. I tell her I love her, but she doesn't need to hear it every 5 seconds. After a while, she's like, okay, I got it, ma. I know. And my youngest girl is acts of service for her. You do something for her, you show her that you love her. But if you look at so many times here in the parenting, trying to parent across the board and fairly, I don't think that's really a thing. What do you think? Or it should be a thing. Is it really healthy to parent fairly, which is I equal to parent each child the same?
No, I think he's saying two different things.
Okay, explain.
I mean, to be fair, like for me, is not it doesn't mean that I'm treating everybody the same.
Okay.
Because everybody isn't the same. So there has to be different standards for different people. I don't like for personally, like you can't treat me like you treat somebody
Mm-hmm.
else because you're not gonna get the same reaction, same response, the same, I don't know, outcomes that you think you may get with somebody else. Because I'm not like I'm not like other people. I that has some similarities, but all in all,
Mm-hmm.
like I am who I am, and I'm very firm about who I am. And that's the funny thing with kids because kids don't really know who they are yet,
Mm-hmm.
and they're
Mm-hmm.
trying to explore and figure out. And there's this trial and error process, and then who they are just kind of naturally starts to flourish.
Yeah.
So
I said around high school, you start seeing a little bit more who they are.
I say like middle school for me.
Okay.
Like middle school is definitely sixth, seventh grade. Once you go through the gauntlet of sixth grade, especially if you start to figure out who you are and where you are socially. So when they figure that out, then you as a parent have to readjust
Mm-hmm.
to who they are and where they're at then. So it's like an ongoing process.
Yeah, and I'm glad you said because but I hear so many times some parents, I do the same for each of them. Each of them get the same. And just hearing that statement, think about you don't have to give each one the same. And maybe that each don't need the same. Maybe child one maybe need a little bit more. Child three might not need it at all. And child two is just like, oh, give me half and half. But I don't know if there's a such thing as we try. I would say I would caution parent as trying to be fair, as opposed to giving each child as opposed what they need instead of trying to do because some okay, let me see my definition of fair. The definition of fair for me is each child getting the same thing no matter what, just to say you got this too. So example, I use the example of the apples. each child's getting apples. It doesn't matter if you don't like it. Well, each child's gonna get 3 apples because I'm being fair.
You do understand that you're being a bit hypocritical right now, right?
Explain it. Explain the hypocritical.
Um, because that's really how you parent it. That's how you parent,
Detail.
especially when it comes to giving kids things.
Okay.
You really feel like if one person gets something, then everybody should get something, regardless of what the
I
situation is.
do, but
And
I do.
I don't
I
agree with that at
do.
all. You know what I'm saying?
I totally do. And like it, I just can't see it. And maybe because like my parents don't do that. I can see like if I bring now look at this, I'm talking about two different things. I'm talking about emotionally and material things. Material things, I'm not gonna come home with something for only one of my children. I don't care if I went shopping for one, it could be because it was just a need. I'm at least bring a t-shirt or hair ties. I'm gonna bring something for the other children. That's true. I do consider it fair. However, it might be not the same thing. It's not the same thing because I need to maybe my youngest or whatever child really need to go. They grew out of everything. So I really got to start from scratch. But as opposed to I'm gonna bring something home, but I don't have to start from scratch for you. You have clothes. I'm just giving you something to make you feel like it's easy. Or giving you something so you won't like, Ma, she got all that and I didn't get anything. But
Yeah.
emotionally too, I don't emotionally I think I look at that. I don't necessarily have to give each child the same thing because each child doesn't need it. Like I said, my oldest, when especially like she loved kissing or always had to hug and touch. My second child's like, Ma, I need time to myself. And
Yeah. I mean, and I feel like you're trying to like you don't want to address what I said.
I did. I said I do it.
But I was like, like even with that, it's still not like to me, like it's not really telling them that um sometimes you're not gonna get what you want just because
Mm-hmm.
somebody else gets the thing that they got. And it's sort of a like a very fair quote unquote way to
I
look
do.
at life and look at when it comes to like receiving things, because just because you do the thing you're supposed to do doesn't mean you're going to get the thing that you think you're going to get. Like that's just not the reality of the world that we live in. So I know for me, like especially early on, we clashed a lot with that because I'm like, I don't understand like
Yes.
why every time we go, I gotta get something for everybody, especially if it's a legit need. Like there's no need for me to buy all this stuff for everybody when one person needs the thing. I like your turn will come. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
not really sure if we actually did a good job with actually teaching them that or not, to be honest.
Mm, I don't know. And I think a lot of that is because of that I'm once again going to the well, I guess to say this material goes into the emotional too. Um, how we were reared. Like I said, how we was reared, it was just different. To me, there is no like Rashad literally, Rashad, like let's say we go out to eat. Yeah, I'm going out to eat. The kids ain't. And I just don't, I wasn't reared like that. Like if my mother and my parents ate lobster, we ate lobster. And it's just so different. But I do agree with you. I think it's a lot of background, not rearing. And do I feel guilty if I don't bring that shirt home? Because I think I do. Even now, we was in the car. I'm like, okay, someone's about to come. Who needs da 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 da? And I went down the line, and he said to me, "Why?" And the question was, "Who needs sandal for the summertime?" And he's like, "Why are you asking that question? We already know that this child gonna want it. This child don't." And I did. It's like, but I had to be fair. I had to be fair. And of course, my middle daughter was like, "What? No, I don't want that." And to me, I was like, "So what are you gonna wear?" She was like, sneakers." And that's exactly what she said and how she said it. She was like, I'll wear sneakers or Crocs." And it was just like, I'm giving those two something. And then they will use it and come back on me with it. Ma, you bought such and such this. Can you buy me such and such? And it'll be equal or more value, depending on who asks. My middle daughter asks, she's gonna make sure it's the equal value. My oldest daughter asks, it's gonna be something great. Like I could spend $20 on one her gift. She gonna want like $100. Like no, we ain't we ain't doing that. But even still looking at that, do we have to give each child, and looking at it holistically, not just for buying stuff, do you have to give each child everything? Is there a thing of being fair? And like I said, I don't think you have to give each child the same energy. And it doesn't mean that you have a favorite child, because you don't.
No, I like for me, it's really about effort. You know, if there's a certain amount of effort given to whatever that person needs, then that should be the thing that that person is really focusing on. It's not really like even if it's materialistic or emotional or whatever, if there's an effort being given, I mean, it's almost like it's a thought that counts, so to speak, even though I
Yeah,
don't really believe in that
I do.
wholly. You know what I'm saying? There is something to be said about I took my time to do the thing, and now the other person is appreciative that I did the thing for them.
Yeah, I do believe in the thought that count. I'm very, once again, I think it's my rear end. And I know I grew up spoiled. I'm very, very spoiled. But I always, for me, if you give me someone, like first time that he gave me a handwritten card. I had that until, matter of fact, I think I still have it. And we've been together 22 years. It'll be 22 years. I think I still have it. Like, I like stuff like that. When I see your heart, it means more to me than when you just buy me a gift and like, it's such and such day. I just gave you this to shut up. The thought means a whole lot to me. He don't care if it's a thought. You buy him a pair of sneakers that he always want. He don't care if you do it at him. He's like, thank you. You don't care. Not for me. I'm like, it's the presentation. I need to feel your heart in it. But going back to the children, the reason I was thinking about this morning, because even like with our children academically, we we had to be there for each of them differently. They had to be there. You know what I mean? It wasn't a fair. Like my oldest one, we had to be in school. Not no, I was literally in school. I would say not literally. No, I really did go to school. But we had to be more on the teacher. What's going on? What's going on? What happened? Because it became a certain cycle. Like grades wasn't really that important to her. Would you say that? Yeah, grades. And it was always a certain time of the year when she really stopped caring about grades. So we had to be more present in school because we knew when that time comes, she's not going to care. My middle daughter almost never got to talk about grades with her. Our conversations are the opposite usually, is that stop stressing about grades. Now, my oldest daughter, we on her about, you need to get this serious with your grades. Not even grades, the information, your effort in learning, because we don't put an emphasis on the grades. We really don't. I didn't even realize to the first time they got an honor roll. I was like, oh yeah, this is a number system. Like my thing was putting your effort in for me. The second one, parents teacher conference, they like, no need to come. We really don't have to come. There's never got a call home for bad behavior or never honor roll, dean's list, principal list about all the time. I think last year was the first time she didn't make it, and that's because she broke her finger and her typing teacher, gave gave her not a low grade but an average grade because she wasn't doing her work because she had a broken finger. But other than that, and my youngest one's in the middle. Like I don't have to be on her like that, but if you let go a little bit, she's gone. She's not gonna focus.
Yeah.
So mean that each of them needs something different from us. So if I had the same strategy and say I'm gonna apply this 1 + 1, I'm gonna apply this equation to all three of them, it wouldn't work. It wouldn't work. They each needed something from us differently than their siblings did it.
Yeah, I mean, and even right now, it's still the same.
Yes.
And how we tackle this and even how we kind of perceive and think about it it can be very different. And it can also be very hard to come to like a common accord and really be on the same page because Keisha really be wanting to have her way and like that be it. You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
and
no, I don't.
yes, you do. When it comes to certain things, I'm not even that. When it comes to the perception of how things look, if it doesn't look like we're on the same page, then you're going to be really upset. You know what I'm saying?
We have to be on the same page.
Because for me, I could not agree totally, and I still have to be on the same page. which doesn't which
Example,
sometimes
specific.
doesn't equate. Like even if it comes to like we're dealing with a thing and I don't see it how you see it. And that problem then becomes a problem for both of us. And you're like, yo, I don't understand why you don't see in my way XYZ. We need to get on the same page. At that point, I'm like, we're not trying to get on the same page. We're trying to get on your page because you feel so passionately about whatever this thing is that it's like you need to get online with what I'm saying. And that can be very that can cause a lot of tension because sometimes I'm like, nah, I don't really agree with you.
Give an
And I
example.
don't have an example. And an example I have is gonna be just way too intimate for me to be talking about. So I like it sometimes you have to, I know for me, like I have to really like I have to choreograph what I say so the message doesn't get muddled in the delivery of it.
I agree.
And really, in very plain terms, say what it is so there won't be any sort of controversy to be met after I say what I have to say.
I agree. I agree that, but the reason for me, the reason is because the way you say it. It ain't always sometimes how you say, or the way you don't say it. And that's was the mix. I'm very sensitive to this. I have strong discernment. I can pick up his feelings, and when he's not explaining it, but I can see it. And even when I call and say, "Hey, I feel such and such," and he doesn't acknowledge it, it does put a little bit of, and especially with parenting. And let me tell you, the children's pick it up. The children's, the kids, the babies, they pick it up, and they were playing us for a season. They were playing like they know who to go to ask for what. Say, for example, my oldest is driving. Now, the last time we did the podcast, she wasn't driving yet, right?
Yeah, she
She
was.
was okay. She's like driving fully on her own. She knows if she wants to go to West Alabama, ask him, he's like, sure, go. She knows if she wants to buy something like anything girly, she knows to ask me. Or, if it's sneakers, they're gonna ask him. So they know how to play us. So they would ask me something. I would say no. They'll go to him, say yes. I find out later the thing was done. And I'm like, I said no, but it was no communication with us. So they used to play us. So we have gotten better with that. Now it's like if I found out that I told you no and you did it, I don't care if you're in the middle of the event's going to stop and you come back home because you try to play us. And now it's like, well, they got to ask both of us, right? Like we both have to be aware. And it's kind of like ask your dad, ask your mom, like we both have to be there. No more of that playing. And one child would do it more than other. But saying that, knowing that gap, they knew the gap and they knew how to play it. And that's another thing, parenting, being on the same page. Rashad is more adventurous. Let them do out. If someone said they're going to skydive tomorrow, Rashad gonna say, "Sure, go ahead." I'm not. I'm a little bit of a helicopter mom. Not a little. I'm a little bit of a helicopter mom.
Sure.
It's a little bit. It's a great.
I mean, what you think?
It's medium. I'm a medium helicopter mom. So it's hard to find the balance. But some things I know I need to let go of and let them explore. But some things like him, he needs to hold back and like, okay, this is too premature. Like it'd be an instance where I'm like, I don't think we should do that. I don't think something blows up from this. And I'm like, that's why I didn't believe we should do that. But going back to, so parenting each child. So even with that, we have to parent each child differently and not just use this kind of cross thing of this method is going to work for everyone.
Yeah, it's not a one size fits all approach.
It's not a one side. Did you think that when we first become the parents
No.
and have a multiple, do you think it was one side?
Nah.
I don't think I actually thought about it until I had them. That how each of them and how they can live in the same home, come from the same parents, and can be so different. So different. And their needs can be so much different than the siblings. Like their needs can be so different. And then the hard part in that is trying not to compare them. Especially if you have one that's a little bit more behavior issues, and you have one that doesn't. hard part is trying not to compare them, or even looking when I was your age, I used to do, why can't you do this? That was the hard part because I did do that,
Yeah,
honestly.
I don't I hate I don't like that. So I
Yeah,
never did that.
yeah, that's it's not a good thing. So I don't do that now, but it's still working. It's in social work, we gotta say we gotta meet them where they at. It's the same thing working with your children. You have to meet them where they at. Can't go further than where they willing to go or where they at right now. So this it's a process. There's no perfect parenting style. It's a combination, like I said, in your home, you might be having three different parenting styles or whatever, because each child needs something else that the other child may not need, or may not need as much of it.
Definitely.
It's like what you call it? All of them, all of them are into gifts. That I want to say, is that all of them? All their love language? I don't know how old is.
I would say probably, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that was asking for crap, so I mean,
Yeah.
sure. Yeah, she got to figure out what her real language is as she leaves the house. But yeah, but for now, gifts is definitely like it's
Mhm.
up there.
But even when we're talking about like finance, so we are trying to teach financial literacy. So some of the things that they won't have to go to. So we can get the same speech. We have got the same speech for each of them on how to do it. Oldest, she's gonna take her money and buy hair, nails, or anything. Don't mind, don't care, don't have $1 in the pocket. As long as she got the things she wants. The middle child is gonna half and half. She's gonna save, and she's about money. Like she's gonna say the youngest is about that too. You know, I feel like the oldest child's kind of like, hey, money's gonna come. Don't worry about it. It's gonna come anyway. My second child's like, no, I'm gonna hold on to this. And third child's like, money's gonna keep coming, but it's because I keep saving it. So,
Yeah, or keep stealing it.
or still, she'll
Yeah,
steal money. She still food.
that we know of.
She'll steal money.
All right, leave a $10 bill out.
She she'll steal money.
All right.
But the thing is, each we have to create a plan for each of them because we can't. Money management is different for them. So my middle child is about being not holding on so tight that you're not making it multiply, or that you're not buying the things you need because you want to hold on to money. No.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, either way, it's just trying to make sure that they have some sort of balance in what they want to do, and being able to see what the consequences are, and the good or bad consequences for whether it be spending money or the decisions you make or the relationships that you engage with,
Yes.
what you watch, what you listen to, like the whole nine. So it just really depends, and it's very, you have to be very cognizant of of everything. I mean, because to be honest, like parenting is very difficult, and it's very difficult to quote unquote get right.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I feel like I'm just doing a very average job being a parent, just trying to do the best I can with what I have. Like I'm not out here trying to act like I'm championing my style of parent, because how I do this probably won't work for your kid. So you
Sometimes it don't work for each kid.
sometimes it only work for me. So you definitely have to, like, it's a day by day thing that you have to
Mm-hmm.
figure out, and then go back to the drawing board, go back, figure it out again. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Okay, this work, scrap that. So
That's
it
even
can be
with
hard.
discipline.
The whole nine.
Once again,
We don't got time to talk about all this because it's about to go. But yeah,
I'm just saying overall,
it's
it,
different.
it's different.
It's different.
So I don't meaning that we can't look at we have to parent our children as if they were different from each other, even though they have siblings, even though it might be come from the same household. Each child might have something different that it doesn't work. That equation doesn't work with that you use in the older child, younger child. It might not work for them. You might have to go back to the drawing board. Um, and especially for us, after having the third child, we just knew we got the equation down. We know we was really like, okay, we got the third child, blew that equation out the water. It's like, nope, none of that works for me. It's like,
Yeah.
dang, what worked, girl? Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's a pretty good place to stop.
Yes. So like, subscribe, share. This,
Wow. Not even that, but like just if you say this long, thanks. And we're gonna eventually, well, I will eventually I'm gonna revamp the channel, do some different stuff, probably change the channel name, and try to keep Hang with the Joneses going as a podcast
mhm,
because what we've been doing for the past 2 years has kind of morphed into something else.
mhm.
So we want to make sure that when we do like legitimately bring this back on a very consistent basis, that it still stays, and the premise of this podcast remains the same.
And also, I have my own outpatient practice now for mental health counseling. So I will be posting this video on the business page.
Why are you telling them that if they're already watching it?
I'll be posting this video on my business page. So if you want to contact me, my business is TR Consultants LLC for all your mental health needs.
All right. Till next time.